Coach Whit.
Ready to roll?
So remember the pass, Mike. It's been a while.
Okay, like everyone else in America, we feel like we really helped ourselves with this class. The two real focal points, I guess you could say, or the main objectives, were to rebuild the secondary. You know, we lost a big, well, probably 90% of our secondary with the four corners and Marcus Williams coming out early. So that was obviously a point of emphasis. Both sides of the line of scrimmage was the next focus and concentration, and we feel like we really helped ourselves there. And then to get a solid class across the board in addition to that, and we really feel like we got some difference makers in this class, and really excited about getting the opportunity to work with them. We we're pretty well represented, in a lot of different states. It was great to get back into Hawaii. We made an impact in Hawaii this year, which we haven't done in a few years, and so that was great to be able to pull the athletes out of Hawaii that we did. In-state, feel really good about the in-state guys, and in-state is a little bit misleading. To me, the best barometer to measure your in-state production is how many of the 25 initials you used on in-state players in any given year, and rather than talk about them and they go on missions and then talk about them when they get back. I mean, the best way to determine how you did in-state is how many of your 25 initials you used on in-state players, and this year we had 6, and so we feel like that's good representation. 6 in-state players out of the 25 initials. We feel that is a solid group of guys. There weren't quite as many prospects in state this year as last year, but we feel like we came away with guys that are really going to help us. It was the usual blend of high school, JC, high school heavy with 4, 5, 6 JC guys sprinkled in there. And like I said, the majority of the numbers went up front and in the secondary, but we feel really good about everybody we signed this year. Obviously, we were a lot more patient this year going in. That was our objective, is to be more meticulous, methodical, measured in our approach, instead of worrying about early commits. And just wanted to make sure that we came away with the exact guys that we wanted to. And you never get everyone you want to get. Nobody does. But we feel like we came away with a really good class doing it this way. I guess there's risk involved. If you lose some guys at the end, you could end up shorthanded. But we felt that this approach that we took this year was the right approach for us and something that we're going to subscribe to going forward. So, questions?
Looking at the secondary and the kids that you brought in that position group, what characteristics really stand out about that group?
Speed and athleticism. We got some real high caliber athletes in the secondary, and I'm not going to talk about anybody today by name because there's 3 or 4 guys that either haven't quite got their letter here or want to save the announcement for their own individual announcement parties. And so I can just say in general that the secondary, and that's been the trend for the last, since we joined the Pac-12, is to get better and better athletically in the back end, and we feel like we definitely did that this year and took a step forward and beat some really good schools on some of the players we got back there.
In the 20 years you've been recruiting this state, how much harder has it gotten?
No harder at all. I mean, it's just, first of all, it's our first priority. I say that every year. We want to make sure we do everything right in state with our evaluations and so forth. And so I wouldn't say it's gotten harder. I'd say, if anything, it might have gotten easier because there's far more prospects now than when I got here 20-something years ago. I think I've given you the information that when I got here, there was 5 or 6, 7 in-state players that would sign Division I. Now we're upwards of 30 some years, and so there's more plentiful.
Coach, out of these guys that you signed today, how many of those would you have had a shot at 6, 8 years ago?
10%. 10% of them. Maybe a quarter at the tops. A quarter of them. Yeah. I mean, just look at the list of schools that we beat on some of these guys, and that would be unheard of, back before Pac-12 days.
You point to the 6 in-state kids, and a number of Pac-12 schools signed in-state kids. I mean, how do you feel about how you met or didn't meet your goals in-state?
I think we did a good job. Like I said, you're never going to get everybody. Nobody does. I mean, SC doesn't get everybody in Southern Cal. UCLA doesn't. Arizona State doesn't get everyone in Arizona. I mean, that's just the way it goes. And so we feel like the players we targeted, we got most of them, not all of them. Like I said, you're never going to get everyone you want, but we feel like we came away with a good group, and guys that'll help us.
Kyle, I know rankings and the star rating systems are arbitrary, but in some respects they give an indication of how you're progressing. This may end as one of your best recruiting classes of NL program history. How do you look at that versus internally and what you guys?
Well, I can tell you that the most important aspect that we're concerned with obviously is our internal evaluation. But that being said, I can tell you that the star system and the evaluations done outside are just dramatically better than they were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. They're much more accurate. There's much more validity to them. And to say, we don't ever pay attention to any of that, that's false, because you do take a look at what other people think. Ultimately, only what you think is the final is going to make the final decision. But I can tell you that system and the way the players are ranked and evaluated is light years ahead of where it was even a few years ago. So you guys are doing a good job. Whoever's doing that out there is doing a good job with it.
Once you guys brought Troy on as OC, did you guys tweak anything as far as who you brought in? Was there anybody that he was able to help contribute? Did anything change or become additional once he brought on?
We got a lot more interest from receivers and just offensive personnel with his background and what he's achieved and accomplished at other places, and particularly with receivers. Receivers, for example, last year he had 3 guys at Eastern that went over 1,000 yards. That's a selling point for receivers, and we feel going forward it's going to be an even bigger deal once if he's able to do the same thing here and get the same results, then it's going to be a snowball effect is what we hope.
I know you're elaborating on adding high school players as well as the JUCO players, which you had a lot of success with even last year. How beneficial is that, having players that are used to playing at that caliber and bringing them on and letting them make an impact kind of right off the
JC
bat?
guys?
Yeah.
That's always been a piece of our puzzle, our recruiting puzzle. And we've had tremendous success with JC players. You look at the players we've put in the NFL, a great number of them were via the JC ranks. And so that's something that unless the rules change or the Pac-12 changes, requirements or whatever on recruits or whatever, we're going to continue with about the same formula, which is about 18 to 20 high school kids and the rest junior college kids. There's always a place for those guys in our program, at least as things are structured right now.
How much is maybe your presence in particular states the reflection of maybe one assistant in particular? Like, Lewis obviously has ties to Hawaii, and Guy has ties to Texas. Are those a reflection of maybe 1 or 2 assistants that are really hitting those areas?
Well, yeah, that certainly has a big impact, and to have a guy, and that's why you don't want to just keep shuffling the recruiting areas year after year and putting guys in different areas. You want to let them get in an area and work it and get to know that area inside and out and build a reputation in that area. And you're exactly right. Lewis Powell's got a great reputation in Hawaii, and Coach Holliday in Texas, and we got guys that Sharif Shaw's making a big impact in California, and Scally's everywhere. But a big thank you to our assistant coaches. They're the ones who go out in the front lines and determine which of these guys we're going to target, and they do the vast majority of the work in the recruitment process. And I think our assistants do a great job, and I think we've got a proven track record of getting the right guys in our program, developing them, and coming away with a pretty good product.
How much of a role did your newest assistants play in kind of bringing in these guys and helping close some of the commitments?
Big role. We got them on the road virtually the same day they were hired. As soon as we got them in the program, got them out on the road. Troy Taylor made numerous home visits to particularly the offensive recruits that we were on, and Kyle McDonald was in the homes of the running backs that we were on, and we're really excited about our running back that we got too. He's a terrific player, and so. As soon as we got them on board, they were involved and going right away.
Kyle, Kyle, how many of these are expected to serve an LDS mission and will not be a part of the class?
Good question. I'm going to tell you right now off the top of my head, it's 3. 1, 2, 2 or 3. Yeah, one's kind of up in the air, but 2 or 3 will go on missions first. I would say 2 for certain. And then we're also getting some missionaries back. Well, actually, in this class, just Chaden Johnston, our place kicker, is the one coming off a mission. But next year, going forward, there's going to be an influx of more return missionaries. I think we're going to have 4 in the 18 class, and then maybe 4 to 5 in the 19 class.
I think all your receivers have signed. Could you maybe talk about those guys and the guys that and what roles they might play or what they might compete for?
With this offense, obviously receiver becomes a bigger focal point, and we feel like the 3 guys that we came away with, and I can't mention them by name because one of them doesn't have the paper right now or something. So anyway, rather than have the NC2A call me and say, why'd you talk about that guy, I'll just say that as a whole, we think that we really helped ourselves. And, Tyquez I can talk about, he's already here in class working out with us. And we're just elated at the 3 guys we got. Now, there's a chance we'll add another one, as things, we got 1 left over. And we're going to methodically, there's 4-year transfers, there's graduators, there's all kinds of things that players that pop up or end up becoming available. And so we, by design, really save 1 to take advantage of that situation going forward. Because the last few years, there's always been a guy or 2 that was overlooked or, like I said, graduates and is looking for a new place to go. So you probably see, there's a good chance you'll see 1 more added to that mix. I guess that's the bottom line.
It's not a secret that you guys were looking for a big defensive line guy who went elsewhere today. How do you feel like you guys kind of made up for maybe not getting that one? Or
feel great. Feel great about the guys we signed, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we signed. Probably at least one of those will go on a mission, but we feel like we came away with an outstanding class of defensive linemen, and we've got an outstanding group of defensive linemen returning. That's been a strong suit for us for many years, and we feel like we added to that this year, and we're going to be just as formidable as ever going forward.
Kyle, can you talk about the quarterback situation a little bit, and then do you consider Cooper Bateman to be kind of part of this class?
We'll see. We'll see how that goes. I know one thing, he's a terrific athlete. He's 6'3", 220 pounds, and he can run. And he will get some turns at quarterback, at least in practice. Individual drills, let Troy make an assessment where he is in relation to the other 2. But we feel like he's going to be on the field for us somewhere, and we're elated to have him in the program. And he's got a great attitude. Talked to him this morning, and just wants to help us win. All right, guys. Easy.